Australian Aviation Podcast, the official podcast of Australian Aviation, unpacking the latest insights, developments and issues impacting Australia's aviation sector.
Hello, welcome to the Australian Aviation Podcast. I am Jake Nelson, and with me, as per usual, is my co-host, the deputy editor of Cyber Daily, born with the upper body of a centaur and the lower body of a reverse centaur, David Hollingworth.
Nay? Winnie? Alarmed Winnie? Because I don't know what I'm doing?
Well, I mean, the upper body of a centaur is a human.
And the lower body of a reverse centaur. Oh,
yeah.
Anti-Winnie. I'm just a normal person.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that took me a while to get.
And your sibling is a horse.
He speaks just fine. Thank you very much.
Of course. I want to, before we get into the actual news today, I just wanted to, there was an email that I got last week that I just wanted to, we journalists get emails all the time in like our media inboxes.
I know where this is going.
From people who are like, hey, do you want to do a sponsored post for our online gambling site or whatever? And it's usually I'm just like, ignore it. But this
could we send you an article with some do follow links about gambling?
Yeah,
it's always gambling,
but not this time.
No.
This is a from a blogger outreach specialist called Christina, who says, "Hi, Australian Aviation team. Hope you are doing well. We have an interested client who would like to publish a post on your blog, australianaviation.com.au." So already she's used the name Australian Aviation twice in the email. Our writing team will begin working on the article once we receive your confirmation. Please provide the following information, blah, 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 blah. The client is in the pet euthanasia industry. Are you okay with this?
No.
Christina, I don't know what part of the name of our website escaped you. Does your client euthanize the pets by throwing them out of helicopters? If so, maybe we can talk. But
well, I mean, look, what if you're in a long-haul flight and mid-flight Spot or Puss in Boots develops a condition? Is there a pet euthanator on board? You know, is there a doctor on board kind of thing? And I am.
Finally, my time has come.
I can finally euthanize a pet mid-flight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, no, Christina, we don't want to put up an article about pet euthanasia on our website about aviation. I mean, you could do it by like hypoxia, I guess.
Store it in the hold.
And forget to turn the heater on, like in one episode of
really
Cabin
bad
Crasher.
in-flight food.
There's that like euthanasia roller coaster. Maybe if you like do enough sort of loops in the plane or something. But that would also probably not be good for the pilot
or the passengers.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we've done stuff about pets on planes before recently with Virgin Australia, but I don't think that Virgin is offering onboard euthanasia services
yet. Virgin will never be offering in-flight euthanasia pet services.
We want to reassure.
Pretty plain.
Yeah,
we
want to reassure everyone that
it's satire.
To the
comedy.
best of our knowledge,
yes.
Virgin Australia is not offering onboard euthanasia services for your pets.
But I tell you what, it's just a great, interesting insight into the way these people operate. Google any website that mentions pets.
Yeah, I guess.
This
or just
website
any website.
Or something.
I mean, is we don't know if Christina is even a people. Could be a bot. Could be
a people. Is Christina a people? I'm going to Google that right away.
Yeah. We'll get on that.
Yeah.
Look, we've got a couple of congratulations to get through because the Australia Day honours came out the other day.
Yes.
It being Australia Day. And, we have the Australian of the Year. Catherine Bennell-Pegg, a trailblazer in the Australian space industry.
Although I like, and congratulations, like I wholeheartly support, but did you see some of the backlash about that?
No, I didn't.
Like all the money that's been spent on this person who's not gone into space, and might that money, taxpayer money, a lot of these articles talking about, have been better spent elsewhere. And I'm like, can't we just train astronauts?
Well, she is the first Australian astronaut to train under their own flag.
Yeah.
And she was inspired by Paul Scully Power and Andy Thomas. And, yes, she hasn't been to space yet, but, she has taken that important step to be able to go to space.
Yeah.
And so, that's a big step.
It is, yeah. And we hope she gets there one day.
We do hope she gets there.
But yeah, just the immediate backlash. Too much money. Blah, blah, blah. And I bet it's all based on the fact that, well, she's a woman.
Quite possibly. But we also have some aviation names in the Australia Day honours. This was sort of interesting. So Paul Scurrah, the former CEO of Virgin Australia, who led Virgin Australia through the administration,
which we've talked about in the past.
Yes, now the CEO of Fiji Airways. He has been named a member of the Order of Australia for his significant service to the transport, logistics, and freight industry, along with Margaret Stabe. I'm going to say Stabe, if that's wrong.
I'm going to say Stabe as well. I'm going to back you on that one.
Yep.
I mean, in which case we're both wrong if we are both wrong.
If that's wrong, my sincerest apologies. But who has been named for significant service to business, the aviation sector, and the freight and logistics industry. Now, she was former CEO of Air Services. She was in the RAF. One thing about Margaret Stabe's nomination, actually, is that she was already a member of the Order of Australia for her services to the RAF. Exceptional service to the Royal Australian Air Force and Australian Defence Force in the field of logistics strategic planning as Director of Logistics Support Agency Air Force and Director General Strategic Logistics Joint Logistics Command. Yes. So she got that award in 2009, and we were discussing, why someone would be made an AM twice, and I guess the only sort of conclusion that sort of reaches like, first one was military, second one was civil.
But also, she's kept doing it.
Yeah.
I guess at some point, you just say, 10 years on, they're still doing this.
Yeah, it's like logically you'd like promote them within the Order of Australia to be like an officer or a companion or not a knight or a dame anymore. They got rid of those pretty quickly. But as Sir Prince Charles will attest. Sorry, Sir King Charles.
King Charles.
As Sir King Charles will attest. But
King Sir Charles? Sir King Charles?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the order of the titles would be there. But yes, she is currently the president of the Royal Aeronautical Society Australian Division, and Paul Scurrah, current head CEO of Fiji Airways, after having guided Virgin into the hands into the welcoming arms of Bain Capital and out of administration. So congratulations to Catherine Bennell-Pegg, Australian of the Year. Congratulations to Paul Scurrah and Margaret Stabe for their
absolutely wholehearted
for their Order of Australia.
Yep, well deserved.
And it's always good to see, the people involved in aviation, and people who are involved in pushing the aviation industry forward, be recognised like this, because aviation is a very important part of the Australian landscape, and a very important part of the regional landscape. So kudos to them for pushing the name of aviation forward.
Absolutely.
So, on the subject of politics,
oh, good! I can't wait for this one.
Yes, so we've had, now this I believe came out of the AFR, but it's been confirmed by the Department of Finance. We spoke a while back about the issue of status credits for Australian public servants.
That old bugbear.
Yes. So there was a review conducted by the Department of Finance last year talking about whether public servants should be able to claim status credits for official travel.
Yep.
So now this is not frequent flyer points. Public servants have not been able to claim those for official travel since, I think, 2010.
Yep.
But they have still been able to gain status credits, which, gives them lounge access and baggage allowances and things like that.
Lounge access, a dirty word in Australian politics, especially if the word chairman is involved.
Exactly. Well, this is for most of these people, this is not the chairman's lounge. It's just access to the regular Qantas or Virgin lounges. So finance ended up deciding against banning bureaucrats from taking those status credits on their official bookings. So if you are an Australian public servant or a politician and you're flying with Qantas or Virgin for official travel, you can still claim those status credits. Yep. But the airlines have been told, do not make public servants eligible for bonus credit offers,
right?
For official travel, because there were reports of like delaying travel or making sure travel lined up with bonus status credit offers among some public servants, or picking Qantas over Virgin or Jetstar or whatever because Qantas had bonus status credits. The finance has gone directly now to the airlines and said, don't do that. Do not offer them. So according to a finance spokesperson, the approach to market released by finance specified that government travellers may accrue status credits for official travel, but airlines must not provide government travellers with access to any additional status credits as part of any promotional, marketing, or incentive activity. Now, this is a setback for Virgin because Virgin had argued that public servants being able to claim status credits was a benefit unfairly to Qantas. And that if these incentives were removed, then that would comply with the lowest practical fare policies. Public servants picking Qantas over Virgin because they've flown a lot with Qantas before and now, this will get me up to silver or gold status or whatever. Yep. Whereas, they might not fly as often with Virgin because Qantas has, I think, a pretty significant share of public sector travel. Now, Qantas said in response, and this was Cam Wallace, I think the CEO of Qantas International, and I think he also had something to do with the loyalty program off the top of my head. But he said that no, giving public servants access to these status benefits, including lounges and baggage allowances and all that, saves tens of millions of dollars to the taxpayer annually. So, public servants get this free lounge access. They get a space to work. They get baggage allowances, so don't have to fork out for extra baggage. A Qantas spokesperson has told us that following consultation with the government, we introduced measures in August last year to ensure that Australian government travellers on official business travel are not able to participate in double status credit promotions. And this was after this review last year found that the airlines do have a fair split of official bookings. Yeah. It's sort of in line with the general public share. I think Qantas has a big chunk of flights to Canberra because Qantas operates most of the flights to Canberra. Yeah. And the review did not recommend banning the government travels from claiming those status credits. What do you think?
Well, I mean, Qantas is our national carrier, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, it should be part of that national, I don't know, the sinew that holds the country together. Mm-hmm. And that includes allowing our public servants to... How often do some of these people travel via air? I mean, a lot, right? So give them time to work. Give them a place. Give them access to a lounge every now and then. Yeah.
The counterpoint, of course, is that, again, it's this lowest practical fare policy. You are not supposed to be taking a flight based on how many status credits it will get you, or whether you will get lounge access or whatever that. You are supposed to be taking the cheapest available flight that is practical to you, whether that is Qantas, Jetstar, Virgin, Rex, Hinterland, Bonza back when that was around, whatever. You are supposed to be taking the lowest practical fare available to you to save taxpayer money, right? You're not supposed to be, shelling out for business class seats on Qantas when you could be flying in cattle class on Jetstar with the rest of us.
I think that comes in. The word there which really leaps out of me is practical.
Yeah.
And it's practical to allow someone who is clearly traveling for business, and that business is the business of government, to actually be allowed to do a bit of business while they travel, rather than being on the bare minimum flight where they're just sitting in a terminal somewhere with a laptop on their lap in the bar or in the waiting area and trying to do some work. Give them a bit of privacy.
Yeah, so...
Especially given the work they're doing.
And I think that's also an argument that Qantas would put forward in favour of the chairman's lounge. Give the CEOs and the politicians a place to network in private, so that they can provide.
Good point. Well made.
So they can provide jobs or whatever it is that they do.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just thinking of how often I travel for work, and you to a degree as well. And I certainly know I would rather have access to a lounge every now and then. So when I'm traveling to Canberra, that I can pump out a story or two in a nice little environment where it's quiet, where no one's looking over my shoulder to see what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've traveled, I've been given lounge access a couple of times, on Virgin flights when I went on the E2 flight, and when we myself and Adam went up to Brisbane a year or two ago. Yeah. We were given lounge access, which was good for riding stories on the go. And when I flew with Air New Zealand, I was able to access the Air New Zealand lounge for their 787 inaugural. I was able to access the Air New Zealand lounge at Sydney Airport. So it is a useful thing to be given lounge access. But it's sort of, a trade-off of...
It is, yeah.
There's arguments on either side. But let us know in the comments, what do you think? Is it fair that public servants are able to claim status credits and get these things like lounge access and baggage allowances? Does that benefit the public? Does it save money, as Qantas would suggest? Or should public servants be made to fly Jetstar like the rest of us?
Please tell me I'm wrong. I can't wait to hear how wrong I am.
I'm sure that we will get plenty of feedback on this. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with a bit more of the week's news. Back in a moment. Right, welcome back. You're listening to the Australian Aviation Podcast. We were just talking there before the break about airlines and airline benefits, and one of the many benefits of flying on Australian airlines is that a lot of the time they will get you there when you need to be there.
What a shocking revelation!
Yeah, I know, right? And so we have here, of course,
here we go.
the prestigious,
yes.
The fantastic,
wonderful,
the not a lump of glass with paper taped to it Huey Award for the most
only
reliable.
kind in its world.
Yeah, exactly.
In the world.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very, very much so. It is the most prestigious award in Australian aviation, and that includes the excellence awards that we hand out at the Australian Aviation Summit every year. The second most prestigious award in the Australian aviation sector. But we have once again this month's Huey ready to present, because we have the BITRA data for the month of December. Now, once again, Qantas Group came out on top of Virgin Australia in on-time arrivals and on-time departures. But once again, Virgin Australia came out on top in terms of cancellations. And I want to highlight this, actually, because Virgin Australia last month cancelled 0.8% of flights. More than 99% of Virgin flights were completed.
That is laughably efficient.
Yes, and we praised Jetstar a few months back for cancelling like 1% of its flights. So we have 2.4% of Qantas Red Tail services, that's Qantas and Qantas Link, were cancelled for the month of December. 1.9% of Jetstar flights. In total, across all participating airlines, that was 1.9% of flights cancelled for the month. According to Danny Norman, who was the general manager of the Integrated Operations Centre at Virgin Australia, the result capped off a record year of over 22 million passenger movements, average completion rate of 98.3% across scheduled domestic flights. So on average, last year, Virgin cancelled just 1.7% of its flights. He said, the strong performance was delivered during Virgin Australia's busiest December on record and our busiest year overall. We also improved our departure on-time performance of scheduled domestic flights in December compared to the previous month and remain focused on continuing to lift it further. These results are due to the dedication of our incredible team who work tirelessly to get our guests where they need to go safely and on time. So again, it's and I think the Oz sort of commented on this as well. It's sort of Qantas is more likely to get you there faster, but Virgin is more likely to get you there on the flight that you booked.
Reliably.
Yeah,
speed and reliability are two different things that these airlines are offering.
Yeah. So, and we've mentioned this again and again. That's sort of the way that Virgin has prioritized its services. Virgin has basically said, we would rather get you there on the flight that you booked and paid for than bump you to another flight. If that flight might arrive late, but it will be the flight that you organized, right?
Yeah, because a flight cancellation isn't a matter of like a half hour.
Yeah.
Your flight's cancelled. You're going to be bumped to a flight an hour, 2-3 hours later.
Or, as happened to me once, a couple of days.
A couple of days, exactly. I'd much rather have a flight get off the ground a bit later, land a bit later, but it's at least the flight I booked, because if I'm traveling for business, hopefully, if I'm smart, I've already baked in some elastic time there that a late flight is an issue. So no, that's commendable.
So returning to the matter of the Huey, look, again, a grossly unscientific award. We have here, it is for the most reliable airline, and we named it the Huey Award because it is for the airline that will get you back in time. But, we've touched on today, reliability is not just about arriving on time, it's about arriving consistently. And so this month, the Huey goes to Virgin Australia for that phenomenally low...
Bravo.
It's a hard word.
It's a brave word to say on a podcast.
That phenomenally low.
Do.
Yeah. Cancellation rate. Kudos to Virgin Australia.
Yep.
The recipient of this month's Huey. Moving on. We've got another airline story that's come up north. This is East Air. Now, speaking of flight cancellations, East Air, which you may recall last year, in November actually announced that it was going to be operating regular passenger flights between Cairns and Hamilton Island. This was the first time, I think, since pre-pandemic when there used to be a Qantas link route. East Air has now sort of quietly dropped those regular services, at least for the time being. So this is East Air is owned by Alan Milne, who was the former CEO of Skytrans, now SmartLinks Australia. They have pulled those twice weekly regular flights to be replaced by personalized services, charters.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a charter flight by any other name.
So according to the East Air website, after watching the patterns of the bookings and speaking with many of our customers, we've come to realize that the majority of people on this route travel in groups and value the freedom to plan this part of their journey around their broader holiday plans. As a result, in place of the twice-weekly flights, we've changed our service to now offering personalised flights for groups of 6 or more. For groups, you can now fly directly between Cairns and Hamilton Island and watch this space from new destinations on any day and at any time that works best for you. So we gave Alan a call, good friend of Australian Aviation. Mm-hmm. Hello, Alan, if you're listening. Alan Milne said, we're not dropping these flights altogether. These are going to be moving to a seasonal service. They're going to be sort of in the high season. We're going to be looking to do these regular passenger flights and switch to charter or personalized services in the low season. He said, it was based on passenger demand, as any of these sectors always are. The demand wasn't as high as we were hoping, especially over Christmas. We had some strategies in place to improve that, but we weren't seeing much change. He said, it's been reported that we've pulled out of Hamilton Island. That's not correct. Essentially, what we're doing is transitioning to a seasonal operation, but still operating charter services as required during the low season. That's a change in strategic direction based purely on passenger demand. We totally intend to go back to regular services in the high season. We're talking with both Cairns Airport and Hamilton Island at the moment about what that might look like, but that is the plan. We don't intend to abandon the route altogether at all. And Milne also says that they are looking to still move forward with this goal of getting some Dash 8s, because right now they're flying mostly Beechcraft 1900s.
Oh, wow.
Possibly from these ones that Qantas Link got rid of last year. And growing into other regional Queensland passenger routes. He said these Dash 8 plans are all on track. Logically, the AOC variation application will be with CASA in the next week, he said, logistically. So we've fully committed to that process and going down that path. He said, I think there's a real opportunity there with Rex finding their feet again. In my view, Skytrans or SmartLinks, their prime objective is not RPT in Queensland because they're
RPT?
regular public transport.
Gotcha, cool. Thank you.
So, this is scheduled flights for passengers.
Yeah, gotcha.
As opposed to charters and wet leasing and stuff. And SmartLinks has, they are maintaining the RPT services.
Yeah.
But they are, mainly looking to push their wet leasing ACMI side of things with the A319s and with the Dash 8s. This is why they have moved to an all-white livery. He said, I do think there's an opportunity and we want to be positioned to take advantage of that. And look, it's easy to criticize when someone when an airline kind of pulls back on a route. But always we do like to give people credit for when they try things, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because every airline is in the business of making money.
Yeah.
And if they've looked at what's happening, if in the low season just imagine you're looking in the cabin, it's like, it's just one group of friends.
Yeah.
We're just transporting one group of friends. Oh, why don't we do it this way? And also, if you're traveling the low season, maybe what a charter flight is better for you.
Yeah.
You get to go, well, actually, I want to travel on this day with these people to this destination, and it gives you more flexibility. Does the cost change? I have no idea about the cost change between that regular flight and a charter flight.
That I'm not sure of. But I think, for it would certainly be cheaper for East Air because, they're not,
of course,
they're not flying empty planes to Hamilton Island 2 times a week, right?
Yeah, and they're not like, okay, we've got to do all this maintenance. We've got to refuel, everything for this flight. And guess what? There's one guy and his dog on it. Sorry, that would be another airline doing the dog thing.
Yes.
Sure enough, yep.
But yeah, so, and again, he said we're not giving this up entirely. We're looking to as well expand into more regional routes in Queensland and get these Q300. So I think
just feels like it's a sustainability option, just
yes.
to keep the airline going rather than we're pulling out entirely.
Yeah, and people get back. I don't know if it's a comparison that they want to make, but we hark back to the Bonza example, right?
Yep.
Like Bonza did start, culling routes like 6 months or so after they began the routes, and people in retrospect might say, oh, that was an early warning sign that the airline was in trouble, but Bonza did keep going for another half a year or so after that, and I think again the main problem with Bonza was that the fleet got pulled out from under them. But it was, a savvy move. And Bonza said at the time, this is something that all airlines do. They look at routes that aren't working and they rearrange things.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be writing a death certificate for East Air
no,
just yet.
Not really. This just seems a sensible choice.
Yeah.
While also still giving opportunity for people who want to get there in the low season a way to get there.
Exactly. Moving on, we're going to enter a bit more into your area of expertise
at
now.
last.
Are we ready for drone-based cyber warfare? This is an exciting one, isn't it?
It really isn't. So there was a recent report.
It really isn't. Well, why are we talking about it?
we are. Look at it this way. We are so not ready. So new research between the University of Canberra and Drone Shield, an Australian company which is all about drone defense. Drone Shield, you'll see a lot of pics of their CEO.
They've been having some bad publicity though lately, haven't they?
There's been a lot of share sales and dodgy stuff, but we don't have the scope to go into within this podcast, I would say.
Allegedly dodgy stuff.
But you'll commonly see images of the Drone Shield CEO carrying what looks like a futuristic zap gun.
Uh-huh.
It's a zap gun designed to point at drone drops out of sky.
Uh-huh.
So these guys, in theory, know what they're talking about. And the idea is that drone-enabled cyber attacks are coming. They're prevalent elsewhere in the world, and Australia's critical infrastructure isn't ready for it.
Elaborate.
What is a drone-enabled cyber attack, you say? So,
what is a drone-enabled cyber attack?
Thank you, great straight man. So imagine.
Yes, I mean, I am marrying a woman later this year. So
anyway, we won't go into that. The whole other podcast. So imagine you put a Raspberry Pi or other small piece of like
sounds delicious
computer tech onto a drone. You fly that drone onto the roof of what seems to be, or the owner of considers a secure facility, and it sits there. That little Raspberry Pi pretends to be part of that organization's network. It will spoof the network. So anybody inside that building might go, oh, I can't get onto this network right now. Oh, this network's open. I'll log into that. And they give over their credentials, their login credentials, their username, their password. The drone picks it up, and now the bad actor who's operating that drone has those credentials, can go into a spoofing attack. That's just one element. The idea is, rather than get someone physically close to scan a network at a facility which is otherwise secure, you fly a drone to the perimeter and you're there. You're already inside the perimeter. You can now engage in all kinds of malicious activity, from dropping malware, from observing network. It could be something as simple as looking at shift changes. Who's coming in and out of the building? So there's all kinds of security issues that drones represent, and we are just not ready for them. Professor Frank Den Hartog, Cisco Research Chair in Critical Infrastructure at the University of Canberra, here's what he had to say about the research. It highlights the need for greater education, more industry collaboration, improved knowledge sharing, and broader consideration of counter-drone capabilities across critical infrastructure sectors. We need to encourage operators to periodically and critically review how drones are used within their operations, assess the cybersecurity. Oh, God, I'm having a really bad day with my tongue.
It might be the beer.
Perish the thought. Review how drones are used within their operations, assess the cybersecurity implications of increased adoption, and explore strategies to integrate drone risk into existing security and resilience programs. And you know what? They're right. Who here, are you aware of the drone security threat?
I wasn't before.
Now you are. Job done.
Well, that's our show.
So the thing is, like, throughout Ukraine, we've been seeing what drones can do on the battlefield. And it's not just about delivering bombs to somebody else's front line. It's surveillance, it's reconnaissance, it's network intelligence. Drones can do far more than just fly somewhere and look at something. They can introduce all kinds of vulnerabilities into a network just by being there. Drones themselves can also be hacked. So if you've got a company that makes use of drones a lot, say, the Australian mining industry uses drones predominantly to look at remote stuff. You just fly a drone out there and see what's happening. Those drones are vulnerable to cyber attack themselves. Like, it's a whole field of cybersecurity that a lot of companies and countries are just now starting to get their head around.
Now, if a hacker is sort of using a drone for this, you would obviously be the expert here. Do they still type frantically on a keyboard and then say, "I'm in" a dramatic voice?
I really hope they do. I really, really hope so.
And then they go, the Raspberry Pi that we've got in this drone has spoofed their network. And then, the tough guy standing behind them goes, "In English, Poindexter."
God, it's like you're reading my mind. But no, we've seen a couple of real world examples here, and I want to read this out. This is from Computer World, and it's not an old article either. This was written middle of last year. Where are we? During the summer of 2022, an East Coast, this is the US, East Coast financial services company specializing in private investments became the target of a new kind of cyber attack involving drones. The incident came to light when the company's cybersecurity team detected unusual activity on its internal Atlassian Confluence page. The activities appeared to originate from within the company's network, but the same MAC address was simultaneously being used remotely by an employee working from home.
In English, Poindexter.
2 access points, same person. Something's wrong. The security team acted quickly, deploying a Wi-Fi tester to trace the rogue signal. What they found on the roof of their building were 2 modified drones, a DJI Phantom and a DJI Matrix 600.
Excellent name for a hacking drone, a DJI
the
Phantom.
Right? Yeah. The Phantom drone was equipped with a Wi-Fi Pineapple device. Now, the Pineapple...
Is that related to a Raspberry Pi?
Look, I think there's some similarity, and so they're both small computing devices. The Pineapple is ostensibly what's called a pen testing tool. You use this to just work out how weak your network is. It's a little device. It's called the Pineapple because it's yellow and cute, like pineapples.
Now we just need to have a BlackBerry drone hack into Apple, and we've got the whole sort of fruit flavor there.
It's a whole fruit salad of disaster. But yeah, so the Pineapple can also be used maliciously. You can walk into a car park.
The pineapple can be used maliciously.
Avoid the pointy end. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're getting some great lines here. The pineapple can be used maliciously. It's a fruit salad of disaster.
So you can walk into a car park, for instance, with this device and turn it on, and you'll intercept anyone unlocking their car with their wireless keys, for instance. It'll pick up the frequency, and then you can unlock their car. That's what this thing is designed to do, pick up those.
And there's, you've got the cars that start up automatically with
all that kind of stuff. So the Pineapple device is being used to intercept login credentials, whilst that's on the DJI Phantom, while the Matrice carried a more extensive payload, including a Raspberry Pi, which is a small computing device, a mini laptop, a 4G modem, and more Wi-Fi devices and batteries. So the initial network penetration, i.e. this credential theft, is done by one drone. And once they've got the credentials, they fly in the other drone, which is basically a standalone data center the size of, both my hands, waiting to do the rest of the work. I mean, that's not only is that terrifying and so sci-fi it's not funny, but it's happening.
It is. This is cyberpunk as hell.
Exactly. Cyberpunk 2077, Raspberry Pis, pineapples, and
Cyberpunk
blackberries.
2026.
Yeah. So that's just one example, and it's a real world example. And like you, I imagine a lot of people just aren't aware that, wait, that's a thing? Not only is it Cyberpunk, it's Shadowrun, for people who know the Shadowrun playing game. And we're going to not stop going down that particular rabbit hole.
Yes,
it's absolutely real, and we're not ready for it. That's going back to the whole headline of this is no one who operates critical infrastructure, for instance, like airports, is aware that this is a thing that can happen. We're just not ready for it.
Airports, airlines, air traffic management.
Exactly.
No, for the last time, the elf wears the maid outfit and the troll wears the bouncer outfit. So yeah, that's the fruit salad of disaster.
That's I'm going to use that one, I think, in the headline at some point down the track.
Yeah. Speaking of disasters or near disasters, before we go to the break, there was the ATSB has come out with its investigation of that golf course landing last year.
Golf courses, friend to failing aircraft everywhere.
Yeah, so the ATSB has basically come out and said what went wrong. So an exhaust valve broke in the engine of this Piper Cherokee, PA-28 VABUN, which was last August. And so this exhaust valve broke away from the stem, damaged the internal surfaces of the number 3 cylinder, piston, and spark plugs. The plane, the instructor of because it was a student pilot with an instructor. The instructor took control of this plane after hearing unusual noises and noticing a loss of engine RPM.
Bang, 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 bang,
yes.
whoosh.
Yeah. So the instructor took control of the plane, wanted to land at Long Reef Golf Course, but judged, we don't have time to land at Long Reef. Mona Vale is there. I think they realized they couldn't get back to the airport. I think ATC was like, oh, there's a golf course over here you can land on. We're not going to make that golf course. Let's go to Mona Vale. So they turned towards Mona Vale. Now, as they were approaching to land on the golf course, the pilot realized they'd positioned the aircraft so that they could not safely land straight ahead. They made a right turn to avoid the golf course facilities. The right wing dropped. The aircraft subsequently landed heavily, resulting in substantial damage and minor injuries to the student pilot. So, yeah, if you've seen the video, it's an extraordinary video.
It's like, oh wow, that's a plane crashing.
Yes.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That's a plane crashing.
Well, however, they walked away.
The thing is, once you know they walk away, you can go, this is remarkable. I can't believe this is such clear footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a good landing is
anyone
one
you walk away from,
and a great landing is one where they can reuse the plane. But according to Angus Mitchell, the Chief Commissioner of the ATSB, the pilot's prompt identification of a suitable forced landing site meant a worse potential outcome was avoided. So he said that the instructor was proactive in maintaining an awareness of potential landing sites throughout the flight. He said about 6 minutes into the occurrence, as the engine RPM progressively decreased, the instructor was able to determine that the safest option would be conduct a landing on the Mona Vale golf course. This investigation highlights the importance of effective decision-making skills in emergency situations. And that's really it. Look, the instructor, the landing may have been bumpy, but this instructor pilot did his job. He made excellent choices.
Multiple excellent choices. We need a golf course. I can see multiple. We're going for that one. Yep. We're not going to make it. Go for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, in the hands of just like a student pilot flying solo or something, this could have been a lot worse. But this instructor did his job, or did their job. They got the plane down on the ground, and they were able to walk away from it with minor injuries.
I do want to point out one eyewitness report from Keanu Turnerwish, which is also an excellent name.
It is.
Describes seeing a big shadow passing overhead and said, I thought it's a big bird. Looked up, there was an airplane. It's about to become Superman.
Yeah,
I promise
Superman,
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was, and I could have seen, there was an airplane close enough, I could have thrown a club up and hit it. Who thinks that? I'm sorry, Keanu. What kind of I could hit that.
It was so close. I could have flown a club up and hit it, but probably shouldn't have.
Probably shouldn't have. Would have just
didn't.
added insult to injury.
And didn't. So, good job,
and
Keanu.
it was dead silence, but 30 seconds later, we had a big crunching sound. Then all the ambulances and everything started coming past, and sirens for 20, 30 minutes. By the time we got back up around, there was an airplane on the golf course.
Yeah. So,
surely it's got to add to your handicap.
Oh, yeah, you'd think so. Do you have to, like, play around it?
4 bong goes off into the rough.
Yeah, it's just like go around the crash plane. Don't mind us. We're just playing through.
We should not laugh. I don't know why we're laughing.
Because they walked away from
serious.
it. Because the plane landed on a golf course, which is a funny place for a plane to land, and they survived.
But the thing is, it's not a funny place for a plane to land. It's actually one of the most logical. You land on a freeway. You land on a golf course. Didn't Harrison Ford crash one of his many vintage fighting planes on a golf course a few years back?
That one I didn't hear about.
I'm pretty sure he crashed on a golf course. You know what? I have the internet right in front of me. Harrison Ford, spell Harrison Ford, right? Golf course crash. There it is. He saved several lives by landing on a golf course. This is in 2015. You know, he was 72 years old in 2015. That alarms me now, because I feel like he's 72-year-old now.
Yeah.
He must be really old now.
Oh, it's 82.
I don't like that.
Yeah, 82. He could
don't
run for president.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say he could die any day. I said it. Oh no.
He could run for president.
I wish he would.
But yeah. So. Kudos to that pilot, and if you're listening to this show,
kudos to the instructor.
Kudos to the pilot. Kudos to the instructor. If you were listening to this show, pilot of that Piper Cherokee, we would love to have you on and talk to you about how that landing went.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, with Keanu, bravo. We'd also like to talk to you about Superman.
We are going to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the week's news back in a moment. All right, welcome back. We've got time for a couple more stories, just some quick ones. This is something about sustainability, actually. We were talking about sustainability in a different context earlier, but these scientists from RMIT University have been developing this carbon conversion technology that they say could be used to help turn industrial emissions into usable jet fuel. So it basically, like, current sort of approaches for this sort of thing that are in testing remove the carbon and convert it separately, right?
Yep.
Whereas this one is in a single process, and that reduces the amount of energy it takes, reduces the complexity. According to distinguished Professor Chanyi Ma from the RMIT School of Science, he said, current approaches have often been inefficient and energy intensive. By bringing the steps of conversion together, we've been able to simplify the process and reduce unnecessary energy losses. Now, he does say it's not a silver bullet. This is about developing practical tools that could help reduce emissions while making use of existing systems during the transition to cleaner fuels. Now, a lot of has been said about SAF, sustainable aviation fuel, which is made from biomass. But like this could sort of help by, pulling industrial emissions out of the air or blocking them and turning them into useful fuel. It turns this carbon dioxide and these, industrial emissions not directly into jet fuel, but into basic chemical building blocks that then can be used to make low emissions fuels and for other things that, we currently use fossil fuels for. So, this is all about apparently improving efficiency and practicality. It does not need highly purified carbon dioxide. They're looking to sort of scale this up. They've got a 3 kilowatt prototype system completed. They want to build a 20 kilowatt system to demonstrate how it integrates with real industrial carbon emissions. This is, if they can pull this off, it's great news, right?
It's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations to those guys. He's hoping they can sort of get that.
What I find interesting here is that demand for SAF is outstripping supply.
Yeah.
So clearly this is addressing a need within the industry.
Yeah.
And if it works, yay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, speaking of things that could save airlines on fuel and money, apparently there are some airlines that are looking at how Ozempic can help their bottom lines. according to some studies, or according to Wall Street, this Wall Street investment bank, Jefferies, has calculated that these popularity of these weight loss drugs, Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, which all sound like Pokemon. These weight loss drugs would make passengers lighter, and thus there would be lower fuel burn. So if these weight loss trends continue, apparently a 10% slimmer society, and this is according to reporting from the Sydney Morning Herald, a 10% slimmer society could yield an average 4% increase in earnings per share among major US airlines.
Of course it's about earnings per share.
Yeah. So equities analyst Sheila Kayoglu, she wrote, a slimmer society equals lower fuel consumption. Fuel makes up 20 to 30% of an airline's cost, which is reflected in ticket prices. Apparently, as these GLP-1 drugs have become more popular since 2022, the US adult obesity rate has dropped 3 percentage points, so from 40% to 37%. And Kayoglu looked at these drugs and looked at American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United, Southwest, calculated that a 10% slimmer US society, and this is again as reported by the Herald, would mean a 2% saving in weight, which could trim fuel expenses by up to 1.5%, adding an average of 3.9% in earnings per share across the 4 airlines. So that's an
bizarre, weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how someone even thought of. Wait a minute, Ozempic could give airline shareholders profit. Who thinks like that?
Finance analysts, apparently.
Yeah.
I do, by the way, like the last line of the Herald story. Qantas declined to comment. Jetstar and Virgin were contacted for comment. But it is interesting, isn't it?
We're aware of it. No comment.
Yeah, it makes logical sense, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, air travel is all about mass. That's why you're limited in your carry-on baggage. Yeah. That's why when you bring on carry-on, it's like, try and be even with it and all that. It's why you're not allowed to move around the cabin too much. So like weight is everything. Yeah. So if you have a generally thinner populace, which is easier to transport, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, Honeywell, and this is quoted in that same story, every 450 grams of a plane's weight, including crew, passengers, baggage, and aircraft itself, totals up to about $10,000 US. Well, that's around 14,400 Australian dollars in annual fuel costs. Peter Harbison, sort of a Sydney-based aviation expert, said that when these drugs were starting to roll out, there was this expectation, apparently, that formerly obese customers could begin to travel, which would lead to a rise in demand. He said, quote, again from the Herald, airlines had already factored in heavier passenger weight years ago. I think the drug's impact would be marginal for the weight of aircraft in the short to medium term, given there are so many other variables. But if you were getting up to 1% of the cost of the flight, it makes a difference. In 2022, by the way, about 32% of the Australian population was obese, according to the Bureau of Statistics.
Here's a thought for you. Sure, passengers via Ozempic and other, drugs like that may come into the market, might slim down. Mm-hmm. But as more airlines start to allow pets, surely it becomes equal.
Potentially. I mean, it depends on how many pets. Because Virgin's only allowing like four per flight, for example, and Qantas and Jetstar have not made any announcement about that.
So how many obese people need to slim down to make up for that pet allow? There's math there, I'm sure.
I don't,
and for shareholder profit. It's like this triangle
and then there's all the pets that are being euthanized on the flights.
Don't forget that, yeah.
Yeah.
But surely once they're euthanized and, cremated, they become less weighty?
You'd think so. I mean,
or we're just flying dead animals around.
If they were cremated, then that would certainly get rid of a lot of the water weight, for example. Let's get off pet euthanasia.
You started it.
I did start it, and I regret starting it. Let's talk about someone else who looks to have come off the worst in a battle with an airline.
Yeah, okay, I'm here for this.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Versus Ryanair. Adam, if Adam Thorne is listening, he might be very interested in this. Given that he has interest in both Elon Musk and Ryanair. Are you texting Adam now?
No, but I'm just looking up a quote I saw in chat with Adam. That might be, I'm sure he won't mind this being shared.
While you find that, Elon Musk had got into picked a fight with Michael O'Leary, the CEO of Ryanair, the ultra low cost carrier based in Europe. After O'Leary said that he wasn't looking to install Starlink because it would the antennas would add an extra 2% fuel drag. Elon Musk, called him an idiot. Michael O'Leary called him an idiot. There was a big idiot sale that Ryanair launched for Elon Musk and any other idiot on X. It's great. And I think it gave Ryanair a bit of a boost in sales as well. Any publicity is good publicity when you think about it.
Well, especially if you're a salesman of that caliber. And just able to look at this is the dumbest flight ever. How can I make this better? I don't know.
Yeah. And Elon,
flights are idiots.
Yeah, and Elon was like, should I buy Ryanair and put someone whose actual name is Ryan in charge? It was, I think, sort of pointed out that there's very strict sort of foreign ownership rules or something like that over in Europe, and Elon could not just buy Ryanair if he wanted to. O'Leary spoke on Irish radio, saying that he would take this is from The Guardian, would take no notice of what Musk had to say about installing Wi-Fi on Ryanair planes. He said, I would pay no attention whatsoever to Elon Musk. He's an idiot, very wealthy, but he's still an idiot. What Elon Musk knows about flights and drag would be zero.
I can't argue that.
Did you find that quote?
I'm not going to read all of it, but I will just... The king of space versus the king of aviation, utterly box office.
Yeah.
He's bang on. Yeah.
And finally, on this week's show, you familiar with the film Catch Me If You Can?
That is...
Leo DiCaprio.
Both lead actors' names, Tom Hanks. Both completely escaping. Yeah, Tom Hanks. It's a charming film.
It is a charming film, and there was one bloke who was reenacting it in a way. A former flight attendant, Dallas Pekornik, age 33, of Toronto, was arrested in Panama after being indicted on wire fraud charges in federal court in Hawaii last October. This is from the AP via the Sydney Morning Herald. Apparently, he would... Over the span of 4 years, he posed as a pilot and a working airline employee. He was a former flight attendant, but he managed to fool 3 U.S. carriers into giving him hundreds of free tickets. So apparently from 2017 to 2019, he was a flight attendant for a Toronto-based airline. He used fraudulent employee identification from that carrier to obtain tickets reserved for flight pilots and flight attendants on 3 other airlines. Court documents contain no explanation of why the airlines did not recognize that these were invalid credentials. I like this paragraph from the AP. The indictment did not identify any of the airlines involved, but said the U.S. carriers were based in Honolulu, Chicago, and Fort Worth, Texas. Gosh, I wonder which airlines those could be.
Yep.
Yeah, and so the AP contacted Hawaiian Airlines, United Airlines, and American Airlines. One Canadian carrier based in Toronto, Porter Airlines, said in an emailed statement it was unable to verify any information related to this story. Air Canada said it had no record of Pekornik working there. That Air Canada is based in Montreal, but has a major hub in Toronto, apparently. This is kind of bonkers, right? I mean, I think this guy was looking to fly in jump seats, which was reserved for the crew. But But you are absolutely not allowed to do that for leisure travel. If you're an airline employee,
how did he scam his way into the jump seat?
Yeah, well, he used this fake identification that he got. He used fraudulent employee ID to get these tickets for the pilots on the flight. Because if you're a pilot who's needing to fly out of, I don't know, Melbourne, and you are currently in Sydney, you might, get on in the jump seat of a plane in Sydney from your airline and fly down to Melbourne there, so
to make that flight.
Yeah. And same thing for flight attendants. But this guy very effectively rorted the system. to scam himself a bunch of free flights. And that's sort of what Frank Abagnale.
Abagnale? Yeah, Abagnale. Yeah, I think Abagnale, yeah.
In Catch Me If You Can did.
And I believe, the whole I'm a captain, I'm a flight, all of that, he was absolutely part of his process.
Yeah.
Alongside any number of other scams and fraud activity. But yeah, good to know.
Surely it would have been easier for him to just fly a bowl of fruit salad over there and hack into their systems using a drone.
Have a pet he dearly needed to be euthanized. I don't know. Anything else? Sorry, I'm not leaving that one alone.
Yeah, no. But perhaps we should, because we are about out of time.
We are.
That is all the time we have for the Australian Aviation Podcast today. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back same time next week. But for now, from me and from David, goodbye.
Goodbye.